Guys, I'm pretty sure that you might have actually heard this term, which is called DeepSeek. Okay, so DeepSeek is actually a large language model. You can actually compare it like it is an alternative to ChatGPT or a Google Gemini, and also you have this Claude AI, right? So you can like consider it as an alternative, like it is actually a large language model, and it is actually from China. So most of the people are actually worried about their data. If you actually use that particular model, you might actually feel that your data is actually being stored in the Chinese servers, right? As I've told you, this has become very popular, right? So we'll also come out with some reasons like why it actually got so popular. And so the main point of this video is to help you install this particular DeepSeek model in your local missions, and you don't even have to be connected to the internet. If you download this model on your local mission or your PC, you don't even have to be connected in order to use this model. So if this sounds good, let's get started with this video. So let's just talk about some reasons why this model actually got so popular. So one of the main important aspect of this particular model is their training cost is very less when you compare it with the OpenAI. Like they are actually spending lot of like billions of dollars when they are actually training these particular models. Like the recent model that you have with OpenAI is Owen, right? To actually train that particular model, they have like used lot of billions of dollars to train it. But DeepSeek with this latest model, which is R1, it just used $6 million to train this particular model, which is significant decrease in the amount of money that you are using to train the models, right? So the second main reason for this to become so popular is this model is actually open source. Open source is nothing but like you and me can actually see the code. Like on the back end, you'll have the code, right? Like how this model is actually working and all the stuff. You can actually see all those things, like how this is actually functioning and the code behind it. And the third factor and the main important factor is pricing. So in order to use the OpenAI own model, you need to actually, like, if you want to use it fully, you have to pay the subscription of $200 per month. And with the DeepSeek R1, you can just use it for free. So this is actually the main component or the main factor that it got so popular. And the other thing is with the API costs. So if you are a developer, you will be using these LLMs in your projects, right? So the API costs and the credits that you have to top up to the DeepSeek is less when you compare it with the other models that you have now. I think the minimum credit that you can top up with is $2, but with the other models it is actually $5. So these are some of the reasons that it got so popular. Let's now actually get into my computer and I'll show you how to actually install this locally and run this on your PC. Remember, when you are installing, obviously you need the internet, but after installing, you don't even have to be connected to the internet to use this. But before actually getting into it, we need to actually install a software which helps us to actually run this particular LLM. So there is this software called LM Studio. You can actually, I'll give you the link in the description. You can just go ahead to this particular website, and whatever device that you are using, just download it for your device. As I'm using Windows, I just installed it for my Windows. So the downloadable file is going to be around 600 MB, and once you extract it, it is going to be around 1.5 GB. So based on that, you can go ahead. Once you have installed, you'll be landing in this particular interface. After you install the software and run it, you'll actually come into this particular page or the interface. So on the left hand side, you'll find an option called Discover. So just click on it. So here you'll find all the models that are actually open source, and you are actually able to use these in your local mission. So if you check with the models like GPT, Claude, or whatever it may be, you don't find them here because they are not open source. So the models that you find here, like the Meta Llama and also the Quen, which is the recent model that is launched by the Alibaba Group. And now we have to actually install the DeepSeek, right? So you just have to remember another thing before installing this. We can't actually install the exact model, like we can't actually install the exact DeepSeek R1 because this is just a basic computer that we are using, right? So we can't actually run this on our mission, which actually needs a lot of resources. So this is going to be a lightweighted version of the DeepSeek R1. So it's actually going to perform exactly as similar as the DeepSeek R1, but this is actually the lightweighted version. As you can see, we have two models here. One is Quen 7B and the other one is Llama 8B. So you can install any of them. Like I have actually installed the Llama 8B model, which is going to be around 4.2 GB. So let's say if I want to install this particular model, you just have to click on this particular model and you'll see the size of this particular model on the right hand side, as you can see here, which is 4.68 GB. And then you just have to click on download. So this actually starts downloading the model, and as I have downloaded it, I'm actually canceling it. So once you have downloaded this particular model, as I have downloaded this, you'll have an option to use this in a new chat. So what you have to do is you just have to click on use in new chat. So this is going to load up the model. As you can see on top, this is actually loading up the model to use it. So we have loaded the model successfully. So I just sent it a question. So in the same way how DeepSeek actually thinks before answering, like the DeepSeek R1, even this is actually going to perform the same thing. So first this is actually going to think and then it is going to provide you the response. So I'll actually see you after the response is generated. So once the response is actually generated, you'll see the time on the top here, like for how many seconds this model actually thought before actually giving the response. So for the question that I have asked, this model actually took 44 seconds to think before actually responding. So we got the response here. And the main important thing, like you have the LLM installed on your local machine, you can just go ahead and use it. And the main advantage that you can actually take over here is some of the large language models that we have on the cloud or on the internet, we have a lot of limitations, right? So for the free version of ChatGPT, you'll have the limit on usage of GPT 4.0. And in the case of R1 as well, some of the times it does not actually connect to the server perfectly, and you'll actually see some errors in the what do you say, the process that you are using it. So here you don't have any problems. You can just go ahead and use it, and you'll also have the option to attach your documents as well. So this is one of the main important thing that you have to remember, like you can just attach any of your documents and start asking questions to it. So this is how you can actually install a LLM in your local machine and run it. If you find this video helpful, just give it a like, and if you have any trouble installing this particular LLM in your computer, just come up in our forum. I'll be happy to help you out. I'll see you in the next one.